my channel. So it's a really busy day for me. I'm going through some personal stuff. I don't want to get into much details, but today I gotta multitask. So I'm baking cookies as we speak, but let's get to the UK reunion. I am surprised no one checked in on me because I said on my last video that if Sabrina and Steven weren't together at the reunion, I would have jumped off the balcony. The door's still open, there's still a chance, so please check in on your friends, make sure they're okay. All jokes aside, that was the biggest shock of the reunion. If you had asked me who would have been broken up, I would have said Bobby and Jasmine. I would have think something with social media would have came up, you know, in the real world when you got your devices, because she's really insecure about social media and somebody that's always on it. So I thought that might happen. Or Benaya and not Jasmine, and Nicole. Maybe, like I said, his nomadic lifestyle wouldn't match hers. But I'm surprised. Both couples are still together. We'll get to them in a second. But yeah, so the biggest shock was Sabrina and Steven, who we thought was our golden couple. And I don't think that has ever happened, right? When we have a golden couple, the one that we're introduced to first, they get married first, that we know is going to say yes, Lauren and Cameron, Amy and Johnny. I cannot think of a golden couple that broke up by reunion. And when the intro came on, you know, they were all walking in and we hear Sam saying, "Get your popcorn ready." After I watched the whole thing, I was like, my popcorn was soggy. My popcorn was soggy because this thing was so boring. I mean, it wasn't so boring. Like I said, we did have the shock of the golden couple, but it was very like, what's the word? Meek? I gotta change the angle because now I gotta do some like manual labor. I don't have a mixer, so the cookies are by hand. This reunion didn't have any shouting and yelling, no cursing. I think the person that was the most angry was Demi. Demi was just like mad at everything. She was mad at Kat, she was mad at Sam. She was doing all of the things that Jasmine usually does. I think we got more out of that YouTube/podcast interview that the two hosts did. It was posted on YouTube, I don't know, maybe like a couple days ago, and everyone was saying like in the comments, why are you doing this now if we're going to have a reunion in a few days? Let's go to Sabrina and Steven, because we start with them. They're sitting separately. And Sabrina was saying that she was going to quit her job to start her own agency. And I tried to look it up, like, what's her agency? Is it like a PR agency, a modeling agency? Steven at that time said, "Great, can't wait to support you." So she was expecting his support. And I don't know what kind of support she meant. Does she mean like financially support? Because when she said, "Oh, I'm quitting my job," or just like, you know, be there for me, emotional support. And then Steven said something that both of them quit their jobs to be on the show. And then later on, he said that he lost all his clients. So he was not doing well financially. And the whole Sabrina and Steven ended up being a he said, she said situation. You know, she's like, "You didn't stick to your vows," and he said, "You didn't stick to yours either." At one point, the host, I can't remember her name, Emma Wills or something, she's like, "Okay guys, and like enough." And Sabrina was about to say something. She said, and she got cut off, she said, "I have recordings and screenshots." And I was like, what? Like, show them, you know. But if anyone in the comments say that, "Oh, why didn't you show the screenshots and recordings?" Stuff like that, you cannot bring it to a reunion as a surprise. If you have receipts and you want to show them, was that guy Trevor, the big guy that we thought we liked and then we didn't like, and then he had this Russian girlfriend on the side? So Netflix had put up all the receipts and text messages and DMs. So I think if Sabrina wanted that to come out, she should have brought it to the producers beforehand and said, "Hey, you know, I have this as proof, like, can you show this at the reunion?" The biggest thing that they said was the problem, you know, the reason for the breakup was the long distance. And what did I say on my last video? That I thought it was weird that she was saying, "Oh, Steven loves Belfast," and then they cut to him saying, "Yeah, I think we're going to live in London for the first couple of years." And I was like, this too, they need to figure this long distance out. And I was going to say, long distance suck. They suck. I don't care what you tell me. I've done it, not for me, would never do it again. And I was afraid to say that in my video and have people come at me in the comments saying, well, but me and my husband, we do long distance and we're doing great. My husband's in the Navy and we have to do long distance. Well, my husband travels a lot for work and blah, blah. So I kept my mouth shut. And I don't think it was for them either, because Steven said the long distance made them lose the spark. She was saying that she did a lot more traveling than he did. And he was saying that he wasn't financially stable to do all the traveling. And I looked it up. A flight from London to Belfast, it's like $40. I'm trying to get to the dentist next week in Mexico, which is like 10 minutes from here, you know, in Tijuana. My Uber is gonna be more expensive than his flight from London to Belfast. And it's only an hour and 20 minutes, Steven. And get this, it is a domestic flight. It's not even an international flight. You don't even need a passport to go from London to Belfast. And she also said that a big problem was that Steven doesn't like talking on the phone. Get it? As soon as she said that, I was like, I feel you, Steven. I'm one of those that my phone rings. I'm like, I start shaking, and I looked at it and I was like, oh no, oh no, no. It can be my best friend and I'll be sitting there watching my phone ring. As soon as it stops, I'll text her. I'm like, hey, what's up? And she's like, why didn't you pick up the phone? And I was like, you know, I don't like talking on the phone. It's being surprised by it. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, like, why are you calling me? What is it, bad news? If it is a scheduled phone call, I just talked to a friend of mine for like 3 hours the other day, but we scheduled, it's like, hey, 5 o'clock on Tuesday, let's catch up. And we caught up for like 3 hours. My mom, I can talk to her for like 2.5 hours. She said that Steven doesn't like talking on the phone. And on top of it, he's not a big texter. That makes it even harder to make a long relationship work because, you know, when you do it, you gotta do, the phone sex or the messaging every day or phone calls. And like I said, if it works for you, I'm jealous. But for me, not even the phone sex, not even the messaging all the time, it sucked. After he said, I lost all my clients, he said that her business skyrocketed. It could have been like a envy type of thing, you know, like an ego. Another thing is that they should learn before getting married each other's love languages, because seems to her, to Sabrina, hers are thoughtful gestures. You know, when she said, I got you coffee and tea, even though I don't drink coffee and tea, but I made sure there was some at the house for you when you came. I rented you a car so you could go to the gym. I got you an ironing board so you can iron your clothes. And you did nothing for me when I went to visit. I think the host should also ask them about couples therapy, if that would have helped, you know, once again, as far as the love languages and communication goes. Steve said that they lost the spark because of the long distance and because they were back in the real world. He made such a good point saying that when you're in the show, everything's paid off. You know, the dates, the trips, you go to this beautiful place for your honeymoon, and then you live together in this apartment that's already rented out, you know, by Netflix. And then you go in the real world, and then you start having real problems, like ordinary people's problems. Let's move on to a happier couple, Nicole and Benaya. They look so happy together. They seem so goofy as a couple. You know, they show the home videos of their first year together. Actually, you know, by the way, the reunion was shot a year after the wedding days. So the year montage that they did for them was hella cute. They were already planning on going to Ghana, and then they did a little shade to Sam when he said, I just want to say that Nicole looks beautiful today. She looks stunning and her eyes are so beautiful. And she's like, not boring brown. He's like, no, not boring brown, because remember Sam asked what color her eyes were and he's like, oh, boring brown. My one little thing is that how come Benaya's hair looks way better than Nicole's? What in the Amy Winehouse is going on here with that beehive? So they bring Sam in, and the host asks, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? And he's like, I've been dealing with so much hate and backlash on the internet. I hate when people go on these shows and reality shows and then they complain that they're getting hate on the internet. And look, there's a difference between like hateful comments and being like really mean to people. I don't, no, I don't like that. But there's a difference between that and giving your opinion. Us as viewers are watching what is given to us. It is not our fault how you are portrayed. You know, they're producers, they're editors, they cast people to certain roles, and Sam was cast as the villain, or they made him look like the villain. I also did not like the fact that he lied about the first night that he had with Nicole, that he said when they did the mixer with all the past contestants, he told Benaya that on the first night that him and Nicole were together, she tried to sleep with him, and he said no, he turned her down. I called Nicole out. Now, like, I bit my words, I regret, I'm so sorry, Nicole, that I said, how come she tells Benaya that it takes her a while to open up physically, to be with someone physically, when the first night that she was with Sam, she tried to sleep with him. This whole time, it was a lie. You said that about me and you know it was a lie. It wasn't true. And he's like, yeah. Let's move on to another couple, Jasmine and Bobby. Who knew that they will be our golden couple? They seem to be thriving, they seem happy. I love their little montage of the year together too. The mom was there in the audience. Bobby, what a class act. You know, he's like, I understood. Marisa was just being overprotective of her daughter. She was just worrying about that we're going too fast. So it seems like all three of them are in good terms. I almost thought when, you know, we saw Marisa having problems with Bobby, that she was jealous of Jasmine. That relationship that some women have with their moms, that's more like a competitive relationship than a loving relationship. Okay, my babies are out. We have Tom and Maria. So Maria was saying that her biggest problem watching the show back was that she felt that Tom humiliated her family, humiliated her mom, disrespected the way that they were brought up by saying that, you know, he wants to raise his kids differently. And I don't know if that was really disrespect, because it's his prerogative to raise his kids the way he wants to raise them. And then when they talked about values, like as far as finances, she didn't like the way she was portrayed. She said, I never wanted him to pay my bills, finance me, buy me luxury. I was like, girl, you wanted to live at his place for free? And Emily Wills, the host, was saying to Tom and Maria, oh, and I thought you two were going to work out because every time you were together, I felt like there was this electricity. Electricity? What kind of couple are you watching right now? Because the couple that I'm watching, I never thought he was into her. But then let's get to Kat and Freddy. They asked why Freddy gave her the diamond earrings if he knew at that point that he was going to say, I don't. That was the funniest response of Freddy, and I know he didn't mean to, but he said, I did give her the gift because if I didn't get her a gift, at that point when he stopped, I was like, you knew, Freddy. You knew she was gonna turn into the Hulk if you didn't give her a fancy, bougie gift on the wedding day. Now I give credit when credit's due because Catherine, she said she returned the earrings. I wonder if she returned the ring as well. Okay, working on the second batch. And poor Freddy, he looked so sad the whole time during the reunion. I wonder if it's going to be a meme, like sad Freddy, you know, like sad Affleck, like Ben Affleck. Betsy Dora, his sister. Oh, I love her. She still stands by for what she told Freddy about him and Kat not being right for each other. Fred gives me the vibe that he can be a bit of a pushover. So I'm glad Betsy was like the reasoning in his ear. And she said, you know, I think they're both great people, just not meant for each other. And she didn't trash Kat or anything. Like I said, very classy response. And then we have Ollie and Demi. And apparently Ollie and Charlotte are dating, allegedly, but they're like tiptoeing around. They asked him and he's like, yeah, like he couldn't get words out of his mouth. Then they went to Charlotte, who was in the audience. They get better lighting for the audience? Everyone that was in the audience had this like purple dark light on them. It was like they look awful. Come on, guys, just say you're together. You know, at one point you're gonna go Instagram official. And Charlotte said something that, yeah, we were watching the show together and he was a great support to me. And I was like, girl, you were barely on the show. What kind of support do you need? And then somebody called out the fact that, you know, everyone thought that Demi was not the type of girl physically that Ollie usually dates. And Ollie said, I don't know what that came from, because all the girls that I've dated in the past look like Demi. And in my head, I was like, that's a tricky answer, because by type, are you saying body type or skin type? Maybe he said that he dates girls just like Demi as far as the color of her skin, but not her body type. And I think the hosts, they were way too nice and too sympathetic. I don't know if it's the British way. Why did they ask Kat about Sam? Because, you know, the rumor mill in the internet is that they connected or reconnected and they have a fling right now. Why not ask Kat when Sam was there? It's like, hey, what's going on between the two of you? So I'm really sad that, you know, the people who we thought was the golden couple ended in such a nasty way, because even the other couples are in better terms. Like Kat and Freddy, they say they're going to be friends forever. And then Tom and Maria, when they asked Maria, are you friends? And she's like, we're okay. That was funny. She's like, we're okay. But then Sabrina and Steven were so like, you know, there's so much animosity between them. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of their breakup? Do you think it was long distance the real reason, or the biggest reason was when they got back to the real world and had real people's problems? You know what to do. Do the thumbs up, hit subscribe, share it, all of that, and I'll see you next time.